Lisa's hands were shaking as she stood in the pharmacy aisle at 11 p.m., staring at the empty space where her usual pack of cigarettes should be. She'd already driven to 3 different stores. This was the 4th. The craving felt like fire in her chest, like something clawing to get out. She was 37 years old. She'd been smoking for 19 years. She'd quit 17 times. Each time she'd lasted anywhere from 3 days to 3 months before that first cigarette would somehow find its way back into her hand. And then it was over. One cigarette became 1 pack, became 1 carton, became a habit she couldn't break. But tonight was different. Tonight, standing in that fluorescent-lit aisle, something inside her shifted. Her phone buzzed, a text from her 9-year-old daughter, Emma. "Mom, when are you coming home? I had a nightmare." Lisa stared at those words. She looked at the cigarettes, she looked at her phone, and for the first time in 19 years, she saw the choice clearly. She wasn't just choosing between cigarettes and not cigarettes. She was choosing between the mother she was and the mother she wanted to be, between the life she had and the life her daughter deserved. Lisa turned around and walked out of that pharmacy, empty-handed. In her car, she started to cry, not from the craving, though it was still there, burning. She cried because she realized something terrifying. Walking away from those cigarettes wasn't the hard part. The hard part would be walking away tomorrow, and the day after, and every day after that. She'd tried willpower before. It always failed. She'd tried nicotine patches, gum, cold turkey, gradual reduction. Nothing stuck. The habit always came back like a gravitational pull she couldn't escape. But this time, she needed a different approach. This time, she needed to understand why she kept failing and what it would actually take to break free. The next morning, exhausted from a sleepless night of fighting cravings, Lisa did something she'd never done before. Instead of just trying to stop smoking, she started asking why she smoked in the first place. She grabbed a notebook and wrote at the top, "When do I smoke?" The answers came quickly. After coffee in the morning, during her lunch break at work, after stressful meetings, while driving home, after dinner, when her ex-husband called about custody schedules, when she felt lonely, when she felt anxious, when she felt bored. Lisa stared at that list. She'd expected maybe 3 or 4 triggers. She'd found 9. No wonder quitting felt impossible. Smoking wasn't just a habit, it was woven into the fabric of her entire day. Then she asked a harder question. What does smoking give me? She wrote, a break from stress, something to do with my hands, an excuse to step outside, a moment of relief, control over something in my chaotic life, a reward after hard moments. This was the breakthrough. Smoking wasn't the problem. Smoking was her solution to other problems: stress, anxiety, boredom, lack of control, need for breaks and rewards. If she just stopped smoking without addressing those underlying needs, of course she'd relapse. She'd be removing her coping mechanism without replacing it. For the first time, Lisa understood why all her previous attempts had failed. She'd been fighting the habit without understanding what it was doing for her. Step 1. Recognize the real pattern. That afternoon, Lisa met her best friend Rachel for coffee. She explained what she'd discovered. "So you're saying smoking isn't really the problem?" Rachel asked, skeptical. "Smoking is a problem," Lisa clarified, "but it's a symptom of other problems. I smoke when I'm stressed, but I haven't learned other ways to handle stress. I smoke when I'm bored, but I haven't figured out healthier ways to fill that space. Every time I've quit before, I've just white-knuckled through the cravings without actually addressing why I started reaching for cigarettes in the first place." Rachel nodded slowly. "That actually makes sense. It's like you're not just breaking a habit, you're replacing an entire system." "Exactly," Lisa said, "and that's going to take more than willpower. It's going to take a plan." Over the next hour, Lisa mapped out what she called her habit replacement blueprint. For each trigger she'd identified, she needed to find a healthier response. Trigger: after morning coffee. Old response, cigarette on the back porch. New response, 5-minute walk around the block with coffee. Trigger, stress at work. Old response, smoke break. New response, 2-minute breathing exercise at desk or walk to water cooler. Trigger, after dinner. Old response, cigarette while doing dishes. New response, put on a favorite podcast and dance while cleaning. Trigger, ex-husband calls. Old response, smoke to calm down. New response, text Rachel for support, then write feelings in journal. She didn't try to address everything at once. She picked 3 triggers to start with: morning coffee, work stress, and after dinner, the 3 most common. Step 2. Make it harder to fail than succeed. Lisa learned something critical from a psychology article she read that week. Willpower is a finite resource. The more decisions you have to make, the more your willpower depletes. That's why people often break bad habits at night after a long day of making good choices. They're simply out of willpower. So instead of relying on willpower, Lisa engineered her environment to make success inevitable and failure difficult. She removed the triggers she could control, threw away all cigarettes, lighters, and ashtrays in her house and car, deleted her regular pharmacy from her GPS favorites, changed her morning routine so she didn't sit in the same spot where she used to smoke. She added obstacles to the bad habit, deleted the number for cigarette delivery services, asked the clerk at her corner store to refuse to sell her cigarettes. He was supportive. Put a photo of Emma as her phone background with text, "I'm becoming the mom she deserves." She made the new habits easier. Put her walking shoes by the coffee maker, set phone reminders for breathing exercises, preloaded 3 podcasts she loved on her phone. The first few days were brutal. The cravings came in waves, sometimes so intense she felt physically ill. But each time, instead of fighting the craving through pure willpower, she followed her system. Craving hits after coffee? Shoes are right there. Might as well walk. Craving hits at work? Phone reminder goes off at exactly that time for breathing exercise. Craving hits after dinner? Podcast starts automatically. She wasn't trying to be superhuman. She was just following the path of least resistance, a path she deliberately designed. Step 3. The 2-minute rule. On day 4, Lisa almost broke. It was raining. She was stressed about a deadline. Her ex had sent a passive-aggressive text. Every cell in her body screamed for a cigarette. The cravings felt unbearable. Her new system said, journal about feelings. But she didn't want to journal. She wanted nicotine. Then she remembered something she'd read. When you don't want to do the right thing, just do it for 2 minutes. If you still want to smoke after 2 minutes, you can revisit the decision. Lisa set a timer for 2 minutes and started writing. She didn't write anything profound. She just vented. This is bullshit. I hate this. I hate that I can't just have one cigarette like normal people. I hate that my ex is such an asshole. I hate that breaking this habit is so hard. The timer went off. Lisa looked at her phone. The craving was still there, but it was quieter, less urgent. She set the timer for 2 more minutes and kept writing. By the time that timer went off, the worst of the craving had passed. It hadn't disappeared, but it had become manageable. Lisa discovered something powerful. She didn't need to defeat the craving completely. She just needed to outlast it. Cravings are like waves. They build, peak, and then recede. If she could ride out the peak for just a few minutes, she'd make it to the other side. The 2-minute rule became her secret weapon. When the new habit felt too hard, she only had to do it for 2 minutes. Walking for 2 minutes, breathing exercises for 2 minutes, journaling for 2 minutes. Often, once she started, she'd continue beyond 2 minutes. But even when she didn't, 2 minutes was enough to break the immediate power of the craving. Step 4. Track the streak, but make peace with imperfection. Lisa bought a large wall calendar and put it in her kitchen. Each day she didn't smoke, she marked a big green X. Each day she completed her replacement habits, she added a gold star. The visual progress was surprisingly motivating. 1x became 3, became 7, became 14. But on day 15, she slipped. A coworker was having a birthday party. Everyone went outside to smoke. In a moment of social pressure and lowered inhibitions after 2 glasses of wine, Lisa accepted a cigarette someone offered. She smoked it, and immediately the guilt crashed over her like a wave. She'd failed. 15 days wasted. She was back to 0. Lisa drove home in tears, ready to just buy a pack and give up entirely. If she'd already broken her streak, what was the point? But then she thought about Emma, about that text from the pharmacy, about the mother she wanted to be. She went to her calendar and looked at those 15 green X's. Then, with a red pen, she marked day 15 with a small red dot. Not an X, but not blank either. An acknowledgement of what happened. Then she wrote next to it, slipped, not erased. Keep going. The next morning, day 16 got a green X. Lisa learned something crucial. Breaking a habit isn't about perfection, it's about direction. 1 cigarette after 15 days of none wasn't failure, it was a 93% success rate. The real failure would be letting 1 slip become a complete collapse. The streak mattered, but not as much as getting back on track immediately. What broke the habit wasn't flawless execution, it was refusing to let a slip become a spiral. Step 5. Build your identity, not just your behavior. 3 weeks in, Lisa was at a work happy hour. A colleague she didn't know well offered her a cigarette. "No thanks," Lisa said. Then something came out of her mouth that surprised her. "I don't smoke." Not, "I'm trying to quit," or "I'm taking a break," or "I can't right now." "I don't smoke." The colleague nodded and moved on. But Lisa stood there, stunned by her own words. Somewhere in the past 3 weeks, her identity had shifted. She wasn't a smoker trying not to smoke. She was a non-smoker. This identity shift was the real transformation. When she thought of herself as a smoker trying to quit, every craving was a battle between her desire and her willpower. But when she thought of herself as a non-smoker, the cravings were just sensations to notice and let pass. They weren't her. They were just echoes of who she used to be. Lisa started reinforcing this new identity in small ways. She told Emma, "Mommy doesn't smoke anymore." She introduced herself at a support group as a non-smoker dealing with nicotine addiction recovery. She mentally reframed cravings, not "I want a cigarette," but "My body is remembering an old pattern that's no longer mine." The more she practiced this identity, the stronger it became. And the stronger it became, the easier it was to make choices aligned with it. By day 27, something unexpected had happened. Lisa wasn't just not smoking, she was a different person. The morning walks had become something she looked forward to. She'd started waking up 15 minutes earlier just to extend them. She'd lost 7 pounds without trying. The breathing exercises at work had made her calmer, more focused. Her boss had noticed and complimented her recent work quality. The evening podcasts while cooking had made that chore actually enjoyable. She and Emma started cooking together, dancing to music, making memories, instead of Lisa just rushing through dishes to get to her cigarette. She had more energy. Her skin looked better. Her clothes didn't smell like smoke. But more than that, she felt proud of herself for the first time in years. Breaking the smoking habit had required her to develop new skills: stress management, emotional regulation, self-awareness, planning, discipline. Those skills were now spilling over into other areas. She started applying the same system to other habits she wanted to change. The late-night social media scrolling that was ruining her sleep, the impulse spending that was sabotaging her savings goals, the pattern of saying yes to things she didn't want to do because she couldn't say no. Each habit followed the same framework: identify the real pattern and triggers, engineer the environment for success, use the 2-minute rule when resistance shows up, track progress while making peace with imperfection, build the identity of the person who doesn't do that habit. 6 weeks after that night in the pharmacy, Lisa was putting Emma to bed. "Mommy, you smell different," Emma said. "Different how?" Lisa asked. "Good different. Like you. Just you." not like smoke." Lisa's eyes filled with tears. "You remember when I used to smell like smoke?" Emma nodded. "I didn't like it, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings." Lisa hugged her daughter tight. "Baby, you know how I stopped smoking?" "Because you wanted to be healthier?" "Yes, but do you know when I decided? The night you texted me about your nightmare. I was at the store about to buy cigarettes, and I saw your text, and I realized I had to choose. I chose you. I chose being the mom you deserve." Emma looked up at her. "You're already the mom I deserve, Mommy. You always were." In that moment, Lisa understood something profound. She hadn't broken the habit to become worthy of her daughter's love. She'd always had that. She'd broken the habit to become the version of herself she'd always known she could be, the version that had been trapped underneath the addiction. 3 months later, Lisa was at a recovery support group, sharing her story with others trying to break their own habits, some with smoking, others with drinking, overeating, gambling, or other compulsions. "The mistake I made 17 times before," she told the group, "was thinking that breaking a habit was about stopping a behavior. It's not. It's about understanding what that behavior is giving you and finding healthier ways to meet those needs." She explained the 5-step system. Step 1. Recognize the real pattern. Identify when you do the habit, triggers. Understand why you do it, needs it meets. Map the complete system, not just the behavior. Step 2. Engineer your environment. Remove triggers you can control. Add obstacles to bad habits. Make good habits easier than bad ones. Design for your environment to do the work, not your willpower. Step 3. Use the 2-minute rule. When resistance shows up, commit to just 2 minutes of the new behavior. Ride out the craving waves instead of fighting them. Build momentum with minimum viable actions. Step 4. Track progress, accept imperfection. Use visual tracking for motivation. When you slip, acknowledge it and immediately get back on track. Focus on direction, not perfection. Remember, a 90% success rate is still transformational. The beautiful thing, Lisa concluded, is that this system works for any habit, because all habits have the same basic structure: trigger, behavior, reward. When you understand that structure and learn to redesign it, you gain power over patterns that once controlled you. A year after that night in the pharmacy, Lisa stood at Emma's school for Career Day. She'd been invited to talk about her work as a graphic designer, but she asked if she could share something else too. She told the children a simplified version of her story, how she'd had a habit that wasn't healthy, how she'd tried many times to stop but always went back, how she finally learned that breaking habits isn't about being strong enough, it's about being smart enough to understand how habits work and designing your life around that understanding. "The coolest thing," she told the kids, "is that the same system that helped me stop smoking also helped me start exercising, save money, and be more patient with people I love. Once you understand how to change one habit, you can change any habit." A 10-year-old raised his hand. "Is it still hard not to smoke?" Lisa smiled. "Honestly, most days I don't even think about it. The cravings are gone. My body doesn't want cigarettes anymore because it's gotten so much healthier stuff instead. Walks, good sleep, energy, pride in myself. But you know what's really changed? I'm not afraid of hard things anymore. I learned I can do difficult stuff if I break it into small steps and keep showing up. That changed everything." That evening, Rachel came over for dinner. "I need your help," Rachel said. "I want to stop scrolling social media before bed. It's ruining my sleep, but I can't seem to stop. Every night I tell myself I won't, and every night I end up scrolling for 2 hours." Lisa grinned. "Got a notebook? Let's map out when you scroll and what need it's meeting." Maybe you're reading this with your own habit in mind, the one you've tried to break before, the one that keeps coming back no matter how many times you swear this time will be different. Maybe it's smoking, like Lisa. Maybe it's drinking, overeating, scrolling social media, biting your nails, procrastinating, negative self-talk, or any of 1,000 other patterns that keep you stuck. Here's what Lisa wants you to know. You haven't failed at breaking this habit because you're weak. You failed because you've been using the wrong strategy. Willpower alone will never be enough. Wanting it badly enough won't work. Trying harder isn't the answer. The answer is understanding the architecture of your habit and systematically redesigning it. Lisa's transformation began with one night of choosing differently, but it became permanent through 27 days of following a system. Here's your challenge, starting today, right now. In the next 10 minutes, get a notebook or open a document. Right at the top, Breaking Free, Day 1. Answer these questions. What habit do I want to break? When do I do this habit? List every trigger you can identify. What need does this habit meet? Stress relief, boredom, control, social connection, reward? What healthier behavior could meet that same need? Choose your 3 biggest triggers and write one specific replacement behavior for each. In the next 24 hours, engineer your environment. Remove one trigger you can control. Add one obstacle to the bad habit. Make one new habit easier to access. Get your tracking system ready. Buy a wall calendar, create a spreadsheet, download a habit app, whatever works for you. Prepare to mark each successful day. Tell one person who will support you, not someone who will judge you if you slip, but someone who will encourage you to get back up. For the next 27 days, follow your replacement behaviors when triggers hit. Use the 2-minute rule when it feels impossible. Track every day, green X for success. If you slip, mark it, and immediately get back on track the next day. Speak your new identity out loud at least once per day. I am someone who doesn't do X, or I am new identity. Journal for 2 minutes each evening. What worked today? What was hard? What did I learn? The truth about the 27-day timeline. Research shows it takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days to form a new habit, with an average of 66 days. But Lisa's experience and the experience of thousands of others suggests something powerful happens around day 27. It's not that the habit is fully broken or the new behavior is automatic. It's that you've gathered enough evidence that change is possible. You've ridden out enough cravings to know they pass. You've used your new system enough times to trust it. You've proven to yourself that you're capable. After 27 days, you're not done, but you've crossed a threshold. You've become someone who's changing, not just someone who wants to change. Right now, you're standing where Lisa stood in that pharmacy. You can keep doing what you've always done, getting what you've always gotten, or you can turn around and walk toward a different future. That future won't be perfect. There will be hard days. You might slip. You'll definitely be tempted. But if you follow this system, if you understand your habit instead of just fighting it, if you design your environment instead of relying on willpower, if you use the 2-minute rule when resistance hits, if you track without demanding perfection, and if you build a new identity one choice at a time, you will break free. And when you do, you won't just lose a bad habit. You'll gain something much more valuable. Proof that you can change. Evidence that you're capable of hard things. Confidence that no pattern has permanent power over you. The habit you break first becomes the foundation for every other change you'll make. Lisa stopped smoking and became someone who follows through on promises to herself. That identity transformed her parenting, her career, her health, her relationships, and her self-respect. What will your first broken habit unlock in you? The calendar is waiting. Day 1 starts now. What will day 27 look like? There's only one way to find out. Lisa now facilitates a weekly habit freedom support group at her community center. 23 people attend regularly, each working on breaking their own patterns. She still has that original calendar on her wall. 2 years of green X's with occasional red dots. The red dots don't represent failure anymore. They represent being human and getting back up. Emma, now 11, recently told her mom, "I'm proud of you for quitting smoking, but I'm more proud that you showed me that people can change if they really want to. Now I know that if I ever have a habit I need to break, I can do it too." That's the real power of breaking bad habits. It's not just about removing something negative from your life. It's about adding something infinitely valuable, the knowledge that you are capable of transformation. Your transformation begins with one choice in one moment, followed by a system that carries you through the hard days ahead. Make that choice now. Start your system today. Become the person you've always known you could be. The next 27 days will pass whether you change or not. The question is, who will you be on day 28?